NALI, the National Leadership Institute. I've seen the 10 billion that additional funding needed. And when I look at some of the construction which is supposed to be made, there is accommodation blocks, there is lecture halls, there is syndicate rooms. When you talk of syndicate, I'm wondering what syndication is there in the syndicate room. How I wish, Honorable Chair, that NALI would have the nationalistic outlook beyond the political party affiliation, because as of now, it is almost taken like an NRM thing. I don't know how some of the political, maybe different belongings can also attend. You know, we use the NALI as a party, even if you are not in NRM. You know, that is one. And then last, Honorable Chair, social media is getting awash with the issues of our Mama, the First Lady. The First Lady. It is, I want to request.
State House. The State House.
Pardon? Inquiries under state, no, presidency can give us some update, whether it is a sympathetic request to know, because we need to sympathize with what is happening. We put her in our prayers.
Those are, I think, personal issues, and we don't want to get into that. Let's concentrate on the document, the budget, kindly. But as we conclude on this, I wanted to...
He has talked much about NALI. NALI is not for indoctrination. That's what I want to clarify. It's not for indoctrination. NALI is a leadership institute. And it has not only handled Ugandans, it has handled government officers from Southern Sudan, from Somalia, from Malawi, from Tanzania. All of these people have gone through NALI. So it's not an indoctrination, it's a leadership institute. And the opposition parties, the people in opposition, are free to go there. They are free to go there. If you have any request, bring it to office of the president. We shall inform the leadership of NALI that please allow this party to go and take a course for 1 month. That one, we don't have any problem with it. We shall allow you, sir, if you make a exactly. Now, on the issue of contribution, definitely, we don't have that big money in NALI for training everybody without paying anything. These people, imagine they sleep there, their utility bills, their accommodation, food and everything, they get even sick. So all these, they have to sit down the entity which is going, and they agree that during this time you are going to stay there with your staff, you will pay money for food, you will pay money for utilities, you will pay money for this, and then they agree, and then they go and carry out the studies. So that is NALI.
The National Leadership Institute that has played a very greater role in the transformation of our service today by having inductions and training programs for those that are joining, but also those that are in leadership time to time, for them to be able to deliver efficiently and effectively. Each role that people go on comes with additional responsibilities, and you need to be in line with the best practices of service delivery elsewhere and look at the government as a whole in order to deliver the much needed services to the wananchi. We are talking about that in order to revamp the infrastructure at NALI, there is need for an additional 10 billion so that we expand the existing infrastructures in order to accommodate the ever-expanding demand for both within Uganda but also in the region. With that, Chair, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation.
See, UPPC is 100% government. It's not, we have no shares there. Now, for the two entities, I mean for the private and then that merger, it's not there now. It's supposed to be there after 15 years. There is what we call the National Security Printing Limited, which was created, which is now working on passports. They are working on other documents like the land documents and other documents. They are going even to reach that stage of the currency. That's where we're moving at. The construction right now is going on at Entebbe for the big offices, which is going to handle all those aspects which are coming in. Actually, the building is almost complete. It's 80% now. So once they have done that, and after 15 years, they are supposed to leave the country and go back. Now, they hand over everything which they have been doing in business to UPPC. UPPC now will take over everything which this company has been doing. That's how it was configured, and we think that it will help. Now,
have Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, an entity of government, the only official government printer, the only entity that publishes our gazette for you honorable members of parliament, but also responsible for printing of your security documents for this particular government. Much of the equipment, honorable chair and honorable members, it was good equipment but acquired during the colonial eras. Honorable Chair, you had a chance to visit us at Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, and indeed, part of the machines you are showed were acquired in 1914, but still operating today. Others in the 1926, still operating today. My understanding is telling me here that First World War, others before the Second World War, and the machinery that the institution is using to operate, to compete with other people that have come on the market. As a result, the cost of operation remains high. Currently, we're in negotiation with the URA as far as taxes are concerned, and looking at capitalization to buy the state-of-the-art equipment to be able to compete on the market. Part of the resources that you have seen an increase in the Office of the President, MTF, there is 15 billion that finance has been able to put for next financial year to be able to recapitalize. But still a drop in the ocean, that if additional resources are thought so that the organization becomes a going concern, but also becomes competitive and offer services effectively and efficiently to our country, our people, Uganda. Honorable Chair and honorable members.
I say much as what I want to say. I wanted the clarity because over the issue of UPPC. Is there no shareholding in that entity? It's 100% government of Uganda. Okay, that's answered.
No, information. He could have wanted to a clarification on. It relates to the joint venture with Veridos, the German company.
That is,
maybe you could give us a highlight, just the status of that joint venture.
That joint venture.
Because at one point they were constructing that Entebbe place, and it was supposed to start printing passports and other security documents in the country. But I remember at that time, when the president gave them the deal for passports, he said we are just putting some sugar to motivate them so that they don't transfer jobs to Germans, but the jobs should be for Ugandans here. How far? I think in the timeline they were supposed to, by now we were supposed to have graduated into printing currency, if I remember very well the issues of the joint venture. Because that time I was still somewhere working, I knew at least. Thank you.
Thank you for we wanted the clarity. But that said, we all recognize the importance of this infrastructure, and we would wish to fund it. But there are issues surrounding it, and I'm aware there is a directive that all government documents are supposed to be printed in that area. And we also private the information that that very infrastructure generates some money. Now, the budget you're talking about is 30 billion, but in the MTF, their finance has provided 15. Now, as a committee, Mr. Chair, we need to analyze this. If there's 15 provided by you in the MTF, and there was a joint venture, that marriage, did it fail? And if it generates, what happens to that money? And so forth, such that we can see how to appropriate more money. Otherwise, we all recognize, we know that the infrastructure is very important. We need it as a country. Honourable Minister,
friend who was making presentation on Budgetary. Honourable Chair, I have been in printing department for 15 years. I have Budgetary, good machines. When I look at this budget line, 30 billion for Budgetary, it exceeds logic. I am wondering whether you're also constructing the house, then you put the Budgetary. It is big. We have machines that can last as long as what is stated, like Heidenberg, this cutting machine. These are machines that can take even 50 years. I accept, I agree. We have offset machines that can take some time, so long as you service them well. They take some time. But there are others that cannot last that long. I don't know whether you were speaking about the year they were made, manufactured, or the year they bought them. I was failing to understand that. But the major issue is, PS, 30 billion is quite huge for Budgetary. If maybe you have stipulated the budgetary line that we want to buy this machine, buy this machine, buy this machine. I have an equipment which is less than 300 million, but I do everything. I take contract, I do a lot of things, but when you talk of 30 billion, it is exceeding. That's my submission, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable. Those are some of the concerns in this paper. Yes, Honourable.